Hi, this is Wayne. I'm going to talk to you today about slab water leak. How do you know if you have a leak under your foundation? We didn't know we had a leak until we saw water running out of the front of our house. I'm not a plumber, so I didn't know what to do, so I called a plumber and got an estimate to fix a slab leak. And a typical estimate is $1,000 to $1,700. And there's many different ways to fix a slab leak. Most of the YouTubes you will see show busting up the concrete. I didn't like that idea, so I wanted to get a plumber's estimate. And he gave me some new ideas. But first of all, how do you determine if you have a slab leak? Saw water running out of the house. My wife came into this bathroom and the floor was warm. She could also hear water running in the wall. To her, it sounded like a fan running. That means water is moving through the copper tubing that's under the ground, under the slab, and the water that's going into the dirt down there eventually makes the concrete and the tile hot. The only place the tile was hot was in this bathroom, small bathroom. It was hot right here by the floor, and you can use a temperature sensor with a laser on it and check the floor temperatures. And the hottest spot was right by the toilet. Over here was about 70 degrees, over here was about 81 degrees. So this leak was between this wall and this wall. On the back side of this wall is the washing room. If you follow me, you'll see this floor and this room was not hot. The hot water heater is over here in the corner. So the source of the hot water is here. It goes underground to the laundry room. Come get the plumbing here. There's a lot of plumbing in behind this wall. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. The way plumbers do house foundations is that they plumb copper tubing ½ inch under the ground, under the foundation, and they come up in a wall. And usually there's 2 hot water pipes and 2 cold water pipes. This one happens to have 3 cold water pipes. Another indication you have a slab leak is a high water bill, 3 to 4 times what you normally would expect. You can also go down to your meter, water meter down by the curb, pull the cover off, and there's a little bitty small knob dial in there. If that dial is turning and you're not using any water in your house, you have a leak someplace. So we've already narrowed the leak down to the bathroom. There's 3 ways to fix a slab leak. Get a jackhammer, bust a big hole in the concrete, and go down and repair, cut out and repair the place where there's a hole in the copper tubing. Another way is to sleeve it. There are 3 ways to repair a slab leak. One is a jackhammer, a big hole, cut out the bad piece, and to re-weld it with solder the copper pipes back together. Another way is to sleeve it with a flexible tubing like this. This is 1/4 inch, and it's not near big enough, so I would recommend 3/8 flexible tubing, and you sleeve it, which means you slide this inside of another tube. If you come down here, I'll show you how to sleeve something through this old copper pipe. This is the bad pipe. I'll show you how I determine that later. But sleeving is to take the flexible tubing, and you force it through there and keep forcing it through there until it comes up at the other end that you've cut. So we're going to bypass this copper tubing, which has a hole in it, which is making running water into the foundation. The trouble with sleeving is you have water pressure, but you don't have water volume because the 2 tubings are much different in volume because of the diameter of the tubing. I had this done at one of my rental properties. The plumber charged me $1,000 for 30 minutes work. I already had the hole cut in the wall. He comes in and cuts the pipe, sleeves it, and it's gone in 30 to 45 minutes and made $1,000. Don't recommend that because of the problems with volume. Now, the next step will be to expose the plumbing in the wall without damaging it. And I'm showing you this after the fact, after I've already cut the holes in the wall. But there's a lot of delicate plumbing behind here, and you don't want to take a regular saw and just start sawing in there. You want to use a small or reciprocating saw like this. And just plug it in. It makes a lot of noise, but it just gently vibrates, and you could cut a hole in the wall, the sheetrock, without going deep. Just right surface cutting to the thickness of the sheetrock. And it's a good idea to cut where there's a stud vertically, so you can put the pieces you take out back in the hole and nail it in there. I didn't cut the hole big enough the first time, so I had to make a second cut using the same saw, and we have a nice big hole here now. Disregard the red pipe there, that's the finished product. You have two pipes, hot water pipes, coming out of the foundation. So how do you know which one to cut? I take a laser sensor and check the temperature in both pipes. The one going across to the other bathroom sink is about 82 degrees, and the other one should be warmer because I'm running hot water through it. It's 85 to 86. So usually there's 5 to 10 degrees temperature difference between the one that's being active. And I call this pipe being active because it comes from the hot water heater, and I'm actively turned on the hot water heater, hot water valve at the washing machine, so it's using hot water right now, and the hall sink and the hall bathroom is not using water, so therefore its temperature will be less. It's about 76. So that's the one to cut, the cooler pipe, because it's going to the bathroom. Now I'm in the bathroom. This is the lavatory sink that's running. It's actively using hot water. We're trying to determine which of the two pipes coming out of the foundation belong to the sink in the bathroom, and which one goes back to the hot water heater. And that's where the problem is, in the line going to the hot water heater. So we put the laser sensor on one of the pipes, and this is where the hot water is running through actively, and it should be warming on up to about 85, 86. The other pipe coming out of the foundation should be cooler, and it's going to drop down to about 76 degrees. Again, this is a test of the two pipes coming out of the foundation in the bathroom. One's reading about 76, and the hotter one is reading about 82 to 85. Now, which one do you cut? The one coming from the hot water heater should be the warmest. The other pipe going down will be to the kitchen sink. It's cooler, 77. And the other one goes up here and over to the the bathroom sink. And it's the hotter one. So in this situation, you want to cut the hot pipe, not the cool one. The hotter pipe would be coming from the hot water heater, which is going under the foundation back to the washer room, where the two pipes come up through the foundation. So you have to determine which pipe to cut, and use reasoning to figure out which pipe is going under the foundation where the leak is. Okay, we're back in the laundry room. We've determined that this hot water pipe comes from the hot water heater. This pipe goes under the foundation to the bathroom. So we want to cut this pipe. And there's two ways to cut the pipe. One is with a copper cutter. You just tighten down the little wheels and you run it around and around the pipe until it cuts. But in this situation, we can't make the turn because there's other pipes in the way. You must use a reciprocating saw. And I like to use a DeWalt cordless reciprocating saw. And you put it right over the area where you want to cut. And hold it steady. And it activates and cuts through the pipe. Then you would smooth the edges of the pipe you want to reconnect. This is the bad one. This is a good one we want to keep. And we're going to go overhead with PEX pipe. So you clean this really good with sandpaper fabric. It's a little strip like this, so you can see through it. And it goes all the way around and does a very good job of cleaning it. And then we run a vertical pipe overhead, straight up the wall. It's 1/2-inch PEX. We chose the color red because it's hot water, but any color will work. Then you put a slip-on shark's bite fitting. These fittings slip over the copper pipe, 1/2-inch pipe, and it grips it and won't slide off. You must engage at least 1/4 inch, and will engage and not slip off. Now the others make a right angle, and then you cut a piece of PEX pipe to fit in there, and self-connecting. Here I chose to use a PEX fitting with a compression fitting. It's a special tool that clamps the ring against the fitting. The only difference between these two is this one costs about $1 and this one costs $8. If it's your first plumbing project that's of a major consequence, I'd recommend spending the extra money and get these self-fitting, self-tightening fittings called Shark Bite. Available at Lowe's and Home Depot. In both bathroom and the laundry room, we've done this, connected to the copper pipe we want to keep, run the fittings, and then we're going to run a vertical PEX pipe to the attic. You notice there's a drain pipe right here and a 2x4 here. Small space in between. So when I go in the attic, I'm going to cut a hole to that side of the vent pipe. And hopefully I can push the PEX pipe from the attic down, straight down, between the vent pipe and the 2x4, which we have already done. And I will show you what it looks like in the attic and how to drill the hole in the attic.